Okay, welcome back to MN333 week 5. So what we're going to talk about in this 15-minute slot is Larson's chapter, actually that should be chapter 6, and it's talking about the Business Intelligence Competency Centre. So what we're going to do throughout the rest of this week's lecture is we're going to start off again at the high level and say, well, what's the purpose, how do we do it? And then we're going to drill down into the nitty-gritty of a process for actually analyzing data. So, if you're wondering where am I going to find the Business Intelligence Competence Centre Chapter Larson, so you download the digital editions from the library website. You can rent out the Larson book. So if I go to digital editions, I go here, I have my book, I click on my table of contents, I go down and it is chapter 7. My apologies. So structuring a business intelligence competency center. So there's a lot of high level stuff on the purpose of bringing together your business analytics into a single function and how you structure it. And this is important from a strategic perspective, from a management perspective. So bearing in mind this is a business analytics course what focuses on business. The nitty gritty of how we actually do the data is important, but it's really important to relate it back to the business and the strategy. So if we just go back and change that back to 7 again, and we start the slideshow from current slideshow. So obviously opening slide, say this is Google. Look at it, isn't it absolutely beautiful? And you're kind of thinking, but if this is all about data, why do they put so much effort into how they look? Because IS is a socio-technical thing. People are really important. I'm just looking out the window there, and that is impressive because it's snowing there as well. So IS is technical, but it's also a social aspect. So people are really important, and how we deploy those people are important. So the idea of a Business Intelligence Competency Centre is we actually bring together in some way, either into a single unit or a virtual unit that spans across the organization, all the people looking at business analytics. So, can be a little bit of a problem is if your business analytics is spread across the organization, they're not necessarily talking to each other. So they're making each of those functional units better, but not necessarily working together. So if we have a competency center, we get those people talking to each other. So the whole idea then is we can create a critical mass of business analytics professionals within the organization. They can have a greater voice. So they can explain how the projects are making a difference. And when we see all these little projects together, they make a big thing. So I was doing a bit of research during the week, and I was talking to a person who was involved in healthcare. And they were using business analytics to identify people that they could take out of beds and bring them, home and treat them in the home. And he reckoned, that the project that they were working on had saved around 350 million euros. But, it's isolated. If they could get all the people in all the different areas, all the different service areas of Ireland to work together, and to do that, they could scale it up. And suddenly, we could actually create the resources to build extra hospitals and to treat the people that need to be treated and give the other people a better quality of care in the home. So this idea is, with a critical mass that can be heard at the strategic level, but also by bringing them together, they can actually create synergies at the functional level. So, HR is responsible for determining how much people get paid. Payroll is responsible for paying them. Accounting is responsible for measuring how much they've been paid. So, if we have all these different departments using the same data or the same people, it would be really useful if they were actually talking to each other and creating synergies. So, we kind of think about this as that there's an information wheel. We've got company objectives at the top, high-level strategy, and data at the bottom. So, our overall business strategy was that some functional strategy where we identify critical success factors. What information do we need, and where's the data? So we then create information that results in knowledge, and then we get wisdom and experience out of it. But what we can have is this can be happening across the organization, so we can have a whole lot of different wheels. So if you think of it like a go-kart that a child might build in their shed with 4 different wheels, or a Dunstore shopping trolley, 4 different wheels, all going in different directions, like a cartoon character on ice. or me driving in this morning, all your wheels going in different directions. So what you want to do is you want to bring all those wheels together, align them. And another thing to watch out, to observe in this is, down at the bottom, at the data side, we're talking about lag information. This is telling us what's already happened. But, as we talk about creating business knowledge, we're creating lead information. So we're actually using it to predict. But the highest value stuff is learning. So by using the data to create wisdom as to what has happened, what works, what's going on in the organization, we're creating a lot of value. So what we want to do is we want to create that synergy between the information wheels. So we want to get all our wheels spinning in the same direction. You also think of it like a rowing crew. So anybody who's ever rowing, they'll understand what it means to catch a crab. So it's really interesting if you see a rowing crew. If you Google this on YouTube, rowing crew catch a crab, and you'll see like literally one of the people, if they get out of tempo with the other rowers, will actually get catapulted out of the boat. And it's quite amusing to watch, but quite painful if it happens. But what we want to do is we want to educate all the users, and so we want to let them know what the business is capable of. There's no point having really high-tech functional information systems that nobody's able to use. And lots of these solutions never are used. Organizations spend billions on ICT that's never deployed. So it's really important that there's a division out there that's telling people what the organization is capable of. It needs to be user-friendly. So, the data, the stuff down at the data warehouse is really complex and technical. We need to have an interface on it that lets non-technical people interrogate the data to find out information. We need dashboards. We need reporting tools that are usable. And the information has to be relevant. It has to be of use to the people. There is no point telling the salesperson, what happened last week or what's stuff to do with products they never use. It has to be actually relevant to the challenges they face. And there needs to be general support. So there's no point putting these systems out there and then leaving people to run them. If I don't get training on what the features of Moodle is, how the different software packages that the university provides, I never actually get to take advantage of them. I sit in the office grumbling over the fact that there isn't such a tool that will let me talk to my students, and it turns out there is. So then, if we have a competence centre, it's really important to think of what the skills and competences we actually need in the organisation. So again, you can kind of think about this. Again, it's the people, processes, and technology in this time, but it's skills, business, IT, and analytics. So, at the business skills, we need to make a link with the business strategy. At the IT level, we need a technology strategy. We need high-quality data. We need to standardize and streamline the IT landscape. There is no point having separate IT systems that cannot talk to each other. That is a huge waste in organizations, and it happens in many organizations. And then at the analytical side, and this is where I would envisage a lot of our graduates will end up, is they have to make business case for things. They have to create user competences. They have to define the business terms and rules. So they're actually saying, this is what we do as a business. These are our processes. Now we're going to map them to the IT. And where the value is created is in the intersection of the three circles. So then, next thing to think is, how are we actually going to structure our business intelligence competency center? So, generally with these things, you can have a top-down functional hierarchical structure, or you can have a decentralized structure. So what you could have is, your centralized BICC that is kind of has a parallel reporting line sitting kind of parallel to the finance, marketing, and other divisions. Or then you could have a decentralized virtual organizational unit that spans them all. So obviously the virtual unit will have a better oversight of what's actually happening in the individual things, and that will help to break down those silos, those barriers between the different functional units. But there may be reasons, advantages and disadvantages for both. So it is worth reading the chapter on this for more information. So then, we're actually thinking is, do we go for performance or strategy? What is our focus? Are we interested in the operational day-to-day running, or are we going to try and create information as strategic resource? So for proactive and strategic, information becomes a resource. But a lot of times, we can have reactive strategy formation, so we're responding after the event. And And oftentimes we're reacting with operational use of information. So we're always constantly chasing what's after happening. Whereas ideally we're using the information, we're using data to create lead information and knowledge and wisdom that enables us to be proactive in the delivery of a strategy based on what's going on in the environment around us. Okay, so I'm going to stop that. I'm going to stop that one there, and I'm going to upload it, and then we're going to come back and we're going to switch over to the Krishnan book, and we're going to work through a process for data analysis. Okay, thanks for your patience.